What's going on, everyone? Welcome into this week's edition of the Mast Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Pence. I serve as the territory sales manager for the Mast Sales Group in Kentucky, Indiana, and Southern Ohio. Joining me today, the National Director of Sales from the Outdoor Plus, Chuck Nitschke. Chuck, welcome in, my man.
Thank you, Dalton. I appreciate it, man. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, trying to get you on the show. We finally were able to make it happen. How's everything going? How's the season treating you? We're here in June, July, and man, it's hot in Kentucky right now.
Oh, I hear you, man. It's hot almost everywhere, I think, right now. We're recording this. But no, it's been good. We slowed down a little bit during the winter time, but man, when the spring, summer season hits, it's pedal to metal. It is fire season. Brother, it is fire season.
Man, I hear that for sure. It's also mosquito. I think it's a mosquito bite that I got on my neck that I was unfortunately messing with before the recording. And I'm like, man, this just kind of looks bad when I'm on camera. But hey, man, it is what it is.
Eyes up here, everybody. Eyes up here.
Yeah, don't mess with your mosquito bites. It is the only thing I want you to take away from this show. But no, Chuck, let's go and get this kind of started. Let us, because I kind of know, let us, the listeners, in on how you got to this role with Outdoor Plus and what is Outdoor Plus.
So the Outdoor Plus, let's start there a little bit. So this is we are the nation's largest manufacturer of fire and fire water features. So we are very proud to say we are 100% USA made, right in the beautiful state of California. We've got about 2 to 3 different manufacturing facilities, and we manufacture everything. So we do all of our own concrete work, our own metal work. We make our own burners. We do our own, even everything we ship in the boxes. We make our own boxes, our own ignition systems. Everything from the Outdoor Plus is made in-house, fully customizable, and we have a lot of fun making some features.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I myself, my background is I was actually in the e-commerce world. I spent about 10 years at a very large e-commerce store. And during that time, I became a master hearth professional and sold everything from fireplaces to gas log sets to fire pits and barbecue grills and everything fire. And during that time, I got to sell basically every manufacturer of fire. And throughout that process, I really started to understand fire pits, what makes them so much fun for families to put in their backyard, what makes them so lucrative for either a distributor, for your pool builders, for a home builder, a landscaper. There's a lot of revenue that can be made in the world of fire. And through that, just cultivated some amazing relationships. And an opportunity came along for me to be able to go from just normal sales into more of a director role. And I was very excited to join the team here. So we've been here for about a year, and getting to work with Mast has been such a joy. And you guys do such a good job in the industry. And that leads me to this podcast, brother.
Yeah. No, it's funny how one thing can lead you to another, even when you kind of don't see that path, ever maybe materializing or what that path can look like. And I think that sort of can apply to what we're going to discuss today, Chuck. And of course, the goal of this show is the goal every single time that I get behind this microphone. It's for those listening to be able to take one piece of information away. And if you've done so at the end of the show, then I feel like we've done our job. And you mentioned, your pathway going, distinctly from one aspect to another. And I think of the pool businesses that have either been in business for multiple decades or some new businesses, but they're strictly focusing on just pools. Well, that's kind of not what the pool industry's become now. It's more so, well, let's tackle the entire backyard. Chuck, of course, not a ton of experience like directly in the pool industry, but I think it all kind of comes together in your expertise for businesses that are looking to get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
What are some, a couple things that a dealer, a business would need to think about if they're wanting to introduce fire water features to the packages that they're offering homeowners?
That's good. No, I'll tell you what, we've done probably about 18 shows this past year, some in the builder arena, some in the pool arena. And one thing that I've really, really found is that people within these two environments is that they're very comfortable with what they're familiar with. And
Right.
a lot of the pool builders that are out there that aren't offering fire, I found that it really boils down to two main things. Number one, how do I do it? And number two, what are my options? Right? There's a how and there's a what, right? And so if you're really wanting to step out of your comfort zone, I think those are the two questions that you really need to deal with. Because let's face it, if I have a pool and it's a beautiful pool, I got some great landscaping, I got some beautiful blue tile, I've got a water slide, it looks great. If I were to take that pool and put some fire features on the corner with some scupper systems with water pouring into the pool, and I've got a seating area off to the side where I've got a beautiful round fire pit with a 20-foot burner system. I've got an outdoor kitchen with a barbecue grill. Now we're not just making a pool, but what we're doing is we're creating an opportunity for people to create memories, right?
Right.
Fire takes that to another level, right? So if you're wanting to try to get out of that comfort zone to start to kind of go down that path into the fire, it's how do we do it and what are my options, right? So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great, couple of things that you need to focus on, because I think one issue that's, at least I had when I was on the dealer side. Now, granted, I wasn't a huge decision maker, but looking at this from like a retail lens, one thing that I was looking at is that I just don't know much about fire water features, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I mean, things have changed from 2021 even to now 2025. You're going from just putting the pool in, maybe some broom finish concrete around the edges, and you're good to go. If you're feeling a little bold, you could put some patio furniture around. But now it's like it's extremely extravagant what people are doing now. And like when I got into distribution and now on the manufacturer side of things, I hit the trifecta, checked off all the bases. But it's just been so eye-opening for me what all you can do, and in the name of being creative and not limiting a backyard. But Chuck, I'll be honest, there still is a feeling to me of being overwhelmed because there's so many options out there. How do you sort of alleviate that feeling of overwhelmingness? Is it more so, finding a couple things that you may want to put into your package and sort of kind of trademark that for your customer? Or is it saying, here, look, man, here's a catalog, you look through it, you let me know what you like, and then we'll proceed from there?
No, I think that's a great question. I think for a pool builder, I think they need to realize that in the world of fire, it's segmented into two categories. Mm-hmm. Fire pits. Fire pits are going to be something you're going to put on a slab of concrete. It's going to be by the TV. It's going to be in a sitting area, maybe by the barbecue kitchen. It's somewhere in the yard, right? A fire pit. But a fire bowl is going to be something specific that typically a pool builder will use, that they're going to build maybe a column on the corners of the pool, and you're going to have some sort of structure that's going to sit on top of that column. So really what you want to do is you want to start by understanding what shape do you want it to be, right? There's 7 steps to a successful selection to it, right? So if you're just going to focus on the fire and water, you want to start with what shape do you want it to be, right? Do you want it to be round, like a cereal bowl? Do you want it to be tapered? Do you want it to be square? Do you want it to be linear? What size do you want it to be? You want to look at that capstone on the top of that pillar. If I have a 24-inch capstone, I'm probably going to want to stick with close to a 24-inch bowl, right? So it matches the size of the top of the pedestal. So what material do you want? A lot of these are going to be able to be made in stainless steel. We can do them in concrete. We can do these in powder coat. We can do these in copper, hammered copper, smooth copper. What material do you want, right? So shape, size, material. Then what color? If you are doing it in concrete, you have a whole color selection, and there's a lot of different companies in the industry, and everybody's going to have slightly different colors, right?
Right.
So what color is going to work well with the space that you're creating, right? And then it's what style flame do you want? Like a lot of these fire pits are going to have a standard burner, which is going to give you a really good 8, 10, 12-inch tall flame. But then a lot of these companies have these jet style burners as well, Or do you want to step it up to a 24, 30-inch tall flame? If I'm putting these on the back edge of my pool and it's not necessarily in the seating area, when I'm sitting back with my friends and I click a button to turn these things on, I probably want a taller flame.
Yeah.
So do I have an option to make that taller flame? And then what type of media? What's going to go over the burner? Do I want it to be lava rock? Do I want it to be a decorative roll lava rock? Do I want to do a fiberglass? Is it a reflective fiberglass?
Mm-hmm.
Or one on the inside? And the last thing is going to be function. How do I want this to function? I can keep it simple and I can walk up and I can match light it. Take a long candle lighter, open up the gas and click the lighter and get it to ignite. Or if this is for a fire bowl, I can connect it to my pool system. Now I'm going to gauge wire up inside and I'm going to make my connection point, but I can now open up the pool app, click a button, and the fire pit will turn, the fire bowls will turn on, right? So if you really want to start getting into it, understand what shape, what size, what material, what color, what type of flame, what media, and then how do I want it to function? These are, once you kind of get your idea around what's required in fire, then I think it starts to become second nature, right?
Right.
But that's where somebody like yourself, Dalton, is really important. You guys understand these things. And if you are a pool builder that's looking to get into fire, give Dalton a call. Give you guys a call because you guys can walk them through it.
It's also important for like distribution as well. And, to kind of be an advocate for that and kind of be that liaison. Sure. And, you spell it out. You said, you need to focus on X, Y, Z. And it's not just, well, I want that bowl and we're good to go because, you want this to be an additional revenue source for you, but you don't want it to be like a major headache. And, what I would say is just lean on the manufacturer in that point. But one question that, when I started in distribution, Chuck, that, it's you don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, you're constantly learning in this thing we call life. The difference between natural gas and propane, right? With some of these. Is it mostly based upon preference? Like, what are the main, deciding points? What are the benefits and drawbacks to each one when determining which one to supply the power to it?
Sure. So a lot of that is going to be based upon what's available at the job site. Right. So if the home has natural gas, typically you're going to want to get into this early, but you're going to trench from that meter. You're going to trench that over to the fire pit or the fire bowl. The advantage of natural gas is it's clean. It's a little bit cleaner. Natural gas tends to be lighter than air, so it likes to kind of dissipate. Propane is a heavier gas type, so it likes to pool, likes to fall to the ground, kind of like dry ice does when it comes over a bucket like that. So propane tends to be a little bit dirtier. It has a little bit more sooting to it. But really, the ultimate answer to that is, what do I have available? That's where discovery on the job site, like, did we already run the natural gas lines and we've got our patio already laid and now I can't run a natural gas line for my meter? I might need to call a propane company out to set down a tank and then trench over to the pool. Like, where are we at in the process? Have we gotten with the gas guys early enough to be able to do that? But really the main difference between the two fuel sources are going to be how clean they are. It's going to be cost is an issue as well. But I think that's one big thing is that propane will tend to soot a little bit more as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have my preference. I'm probably going to stick with natural gas if possible.
Hey man, everybody has their preference, but the first thing you mentioned is availability on the job site. I think that is definitely key.
Yeah.
I will say that something that blew me away when I was in distribution is I had a dealer come to me and say, I'm looking at this website and I'm seeing fodder, I'm seeing fire bowls and I'm seeing water bowls. So why can't I have both? And I'm like, bingo, that is exactly what we're going for in the combination of those fire water bowls. You think with kind of how it works elementally that it shouldn't be able to work with the being fire water, but it seems like it's becoming more and more popular in our industry, Chuck.
No, it absolutely is. So for these fire bowls like that, yes, you can. It needs to coordinate with your pool system, right? So again, this is where coordinating with everybody on the job site is really important. Making sure that when you're installing your pool equipment, that you're running a water line over to these pedestals. So when I have my pedestal that I'm going to be setting this bowl down on, yes, I'm going to need my gas line. If I am doing an electric ignition, I will need electrical. But I also need to have that 1/2-inch tubing coming over from my pool equipment, because that's what's going to be filtering it. And that's what's going to be sending the water over to the bowl. And then what's happening on the inside of the bowl is when I lift up that pan, I'm going to see my inlet to the burner, and then going to be a scupper that we're going to cut out of the side of the bowl that's going to set down in the concrete. And then we're just going to connect that water line to the back of it. Your pool system's doing all the work, but yeah, you're going to have 20-inch flames coming up on top and a beautiful cascading water down into the pool. And it takes that pool project to a next level.
No, yeah, it just kind of gives you that pop, that wow factor, that it's just like you do a double take when you look in someone's backyard. Chuck, one thing we like to do on every episode is implement a mailbag question, something that is directly pertaining to, kind of the topic at hand. I think that this is definitely appropriate for this. Chuck, the mailbag question for the day is going to be, what is one of the main mistakes that dealers and installers will make when putting in, whether it's, fire bowls, water bowls, any type of features around the pool?
That's an awesome question. And I was hoping to try to intertwine this a little bit, because the answer to that very easily is gas line size.
Yeah.
So if I've got a pool that has got a 300,000 BTU heater system in it, and I've got a barbecue grill that's going to be 100,000 BTUs, and I've got 2 fire bowls that are 60,000 BTUs each, too many times on the gas side of things, what they'll do is they'll run a 3/4-inch line and just assume that it's good. Or they'll just run a 1-inch line. But if I have 300,000 for the pool, 100,000 for the barbecue grill, 120 for the 2 bowls, that's 520,000 BTUs I'm going to need for that job space. Now, gas is a distance sensitive item, meaning wherever my meter is, I need to be able to have a gas line size that's going to be big enough to carry 520,000 BTUs to all of the items back there.
Right.
So you can't just default to a 3/4-inch gas line size or a 1-inch gas line size. Every job site is going to be different. And what'll happen is they'll just assume that a 3/4-inch gas line is long enough. They'll run it 60 feet into the project. And when they go to turn on that fire bowl, when the project is done and all the concrete is poured, everything is completed, and they get a 2-inch flame on that burner system, it's hard to go back and refix that.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's going to have to eat that cost to either retrench a gas line, or the homeowner is with something they didn't want. So gas line size is absolutely the answer there. There are charts online. If you do a natural gas line sizing chart, type it into Google. There's different charts that are going to be out there. So the numbers are always a little bit different, but you're going to want to examine how many BTUs do I need on the job site?
Yeah.
Example, it was 520. I also then want to measure how far away is the meter. If the meter is 60 feet, 80 feet, 100 feet, that pipe is going to need to change. It might be an inch, 1.25 inches, 1.5. It could be a 2-inch pipe. But you really want to make sure that before installing your gas line, you know how many BTUs you're going to need. You're going to need to know how far of a distance that line is going to need to run, and do your research ahead of time. Don't do it after the fact. So that's the worst call for any of us to get. And I know you
exactly
before where, why do I have a 2-inch flame? Well, the burner is basically a tube with holes in it. I could hook up a hose to it and water will squirt out, right? I have a 2-inch flame sticking out there. It's 100% of the time a gas line issue. So being able to plan that ahead of time to avoid that pitfall there's success. I want that homeowner to be wowed with that flame effect, right? So as the professionals, to do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research, and to understand what is required. That's the key to success. That's how we avoid those pitfalls. And that's where those referrals come from in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of comes down to letting this aspect of the business be a revenue source and not a headache. And there's just a couple things you got to focus on. It Chuck's kind of laying out that blueprint. Chuck, we'll kind of now transition over to the Outdoor Plus, which I think the first thing that with Top that blew me away, and I knew about it from distribution, but definitely now with working with the team, is that when the Outdoor Plus is that they design custom features there's no limit to what custom can be. I've seen a 9-foot tall steel guitar that I've stood next to and tried to get out of a shipping container, and that's not easy. I've seen, so much more stuff in terms of waterfalls and just incredible items that you can customize to put your sports team in there, to do whatever really you want to do. Is that don't limit yourself here, Chuck, is kind of what I was told early on. Yeah. And that's what I relate to any dealers that look to get some custom work done.
Sure, absolutely. From even the designers and the architects from their world to be able to use their creativity to just dream, right?
Yeah.
You'd be able to hear a homeowner who says, oh man, I would really like to do this. Can I do this? When the answer is over and over, yes, that gives the pool builders, the designers, the architects, gives everybody freedom to dream and really create this space unique. We can do, I've done 43-foot long continuous burners on the side of a infinity pool where we have multiple ignition sources, and you click a button and a big 40-foot wall of flame appears. We've done water features with LED lights and sheer waterfalls coming down in the pool that I think that was like 40 feet long that we did for somebody's house as well. We've got these Paradise Falls, which we take to the shows with us, and people love them. So they're a standalone feature. So it's going to be like an outdoor fireplace, and we can put a rain shear on it. So it's falling down, LED lighting, cut out corporate logos. If there's anything that'll make that space special for you, the Outdoor Plus can do it.
That makes a lot of a lot of sense in terms of if you're going to promote custom, making it truly custom is the way to go. Yeah. Chuck, of all the stuff that we've talked about today, what's sort of the one thing that you would pick to sort of kind of hammer home as we wrap things up? What's that one thing that if you want someone to take something, just one piece of information away from this, what is that piece of information? And you can't say buy fire and water features.
No, well, there's a lot. I think the big thing is for pool builders specifically. We're recording this here in 2025. So as we're recording this now, the pool business has gotten difficult this year. And so I think a lot of our pool builders and even our distributors, anybody in the world of business right now, we're trying to keep sales up. So if you're somebody that hasn't gotten into fire, if you aren't offering fire and water to your customers, if you're a landscaper and you like to build your own fire pit structure and you need a custom burner system, or if you've got a commercial space that is looking for something unique with a commercial ignition system, you can do it. And the beautiful thing is it's a great, simple way for you to be able to increase revenue. Fire, right? Because any pool is going to look a lot better with fire on it, but it's really easy because at the Outdoor Plus, we're going to manufacture that item for you. We're going to put it on a pallet. We're going to drop it off at the job site. You're literally going to take this bowl, put down a little mounting bracket, set the bowl on top of it, connect your gas, electrical, and water if need be. And then you're done. You just step away, walk away. So if you're looking to increase revenue, adding fire to the job site not only will secure more referrals in the end because it's going to look great, but it's a great way to be able to generate revenue.
Heck yeah. Well, that's Chuck Nitschke, National Director of Sales for the Outdoor Plus. Of course, if you are looking for any fire or water features, if you're in my area, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, that's great because you can just reach out to me directly. But if not, you can still reach out and I can send you to the right person. That's Dalton at Mast, M-A-S-T, salesgroup.com. Dalton at mastsalesgroup.com. I'd love to help you out and get you connected with the right people to start making some of those dreams happen and come true. We're going to I'm going to phrase this a certain way. We're going to end this episode, but however, next week we still got Chuck Nitschke in the studio with us. He's going to take us through to the grill world, which, like fire and water features, is starting to becoming more and more prevalent in the backyard. Don't forget, a rising tide raises all ships in our industry. We'll see you here next week. Dalton Pence, Chuck Nitschke signing off. See you soon.
Hey, guys.